Figured it was about time I milked this boy one more time. We're going to be rocking the Max Potential Mordex, aka I'm just running the strength stance, which takes away a dex, leaves him with 5 defense and 7 speed, and bumps him up to 7 strength. Mordex, as we know, always been, a staple of the game, always been, like, I guess the go-to character. I feel like when people are trying to look at ones that are, this is the character to play if you're trying to really, like, do cool stuff, just hit all the clips. Mordex has always been one of the main boys for that, one of the main legends. And I gotta say, yeah, I mean, Mordex, out of all the legends I've played, he's just been absolutely one of the most fun. I mean, to be fair, like, luckily for me, I chose to play gauntlets, so I was kind of happy about that. And also, I do got a scythe on me, so that's always nice. And Mordex, I mean, the signatures that came with this character, I will stand by. I think Mordex is possibly one of, if not the best made character that Brawlhalla has ever put out. It's just, he feels, I don't want to say complete, it's just the kit for both weapons, like the signatures, they just feel so good to use. They all feel like they have purpose. Like, this is one of the very few pullback sigs in the game that I actually think is very good. And that's honestly, like, super refreshing and nice, because a lot of the pullback sigs in this game just don't matter. Not to mention the stats. I mean, always high speed's gonna feel good. You just pair that with the fact that he has, like, the 7 strength, at least in this case. And even if you didn't feel comfortable running that, you can bump him up, give him a defense. You could just play it base. Like, even playing speed stance is not that bad of a choice, but I've fully committed to playing strength stance at this point. I just think it is not that different, especially once you, like, put a little bit of time into that. And that's what it comes down to, really. I mean, with anything, you just got to be willing to put time into it, and you're going to feel more natural. You're going to feel better on it. I'm getting deja vu. Did I literally just do that exact thing to this guy? I don't even know. Let's play Scythe again. I feel like playing Mordex also, especially more recently, I feel like I've been, and I'll talk about it more in a bit, just because it was kind of a tragedy how my Winter's run ended, but I feel like overall, just the way I've played, I'm playing much more aware, and I don't know why, of just what my opponents are doing and making the adaptations that I need to much quicker. I'm doing it mid-game instead of, like, after each game, for example. Which sometimes, you can get away with that, but in the end, if it's like a game 5 or you're down and you don't have any games to really spare, that can be it can be a bit of a problem, to say the least, because it's like, okay, well, you can't take the time and wait till post-game to make that adjustment. You got to be trying new stuff now. You got to be mixing it up, just seeing what works. And also, another big thing I like about Mordex is the fact that it's so easy to mix it up. It's so easy just to try and, like, throw stuff out, see what they fall for. I mean, a very classic Mordex thing to do, at least in my mind, right, is like a D-Light Dare, and then you push them to edge, and you can, like, D-Sig. Because if they go down at all, or they spot dodge, they're gonna get hit. They're gonna get hit by it. And it's kind of the same story with, like, side sig, or if they have no dodge off of a D-Light, right? Like, there's stuff you're gonna be able to do that's possibly gonna kill very early, and it's just like, it's just another way to just, again, mix things up. Because in this game, I think, and in any fighting game in particular, mixing up is just such a massive part, because, like I was talking about previous game and leading into this, adaptations, like, just it's so big, so you always got to be willing to change stuff and do, I guess, what's most optimal. Like, okay, also that, I mean, that's just me being an absolute clown. Speaking of me being an absolute clown, let me tell you about my Winter's run. So, I mean, everything was going fine. The first problem really came to when I had to play good old Hardy MJ in round 1 of top 32. Now, Hardy MJ, I definitely think he is a very good player, but he is, in particular, the only person aside from Sandstorm, and, I will include Bagus in there as well, but Sandstorm and Hardy MJ are the 2 people that I play, and I'm like, I don't have any idea what they're doing when they are on Greatsword. Like, their Greatsword knowledge compared to what feels like everyone else, or at least how they apply it, is so much greater, and it's so much harder to actually, like, fight against. Like, Dude, when I say, like, I was absolutely clueless most of the time playing Hardy MJ, like, I really do mean it. And that felt awful. That felt so incredibly bad, and I was obviously not very, you know, happy with losing. I mean, I didn't, like, freak out or anything, but it was just like, dang, like, that sucks. Because it's like, how do you get practice on something like that? Now, to me, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can play the weapon to help better understand. You could watch replays. I guess you could play other people who play the weapon, but that's the thing. That's just the thing. I don't know anyone else. The next closest person at this point would be Bagus, who plays Greatsword and practice against them, and maybe I just have to do that a bit more and just actively be thinking and mixing up my options more. To give a rundown of the set, though, and kind of wrap up my winner's side, it went to Game 5 versus Hardy. I was playing Mordex at first, and I think it was 1-0 him, and then I managed with Scythe to sneak out a little gimp. It was actually pretty nice. I feel like I've become pretty collected and calm, and I just know what to do with Scythe, it's such a good feeling. I mean, the weapon's just amazing to play, and it feels like I'm saying, just so good to use. But then he got up 2-1. I made the swap to Onyx. I felt like I started to get a grip, but he also changed what he did on Greatsword. And Greatsword, I mean, he thinks the weapon is still really bad, and I feel like that just partially might be salt, because, man, Greatsword on, like playing against that weapon is just insane, because you got to think, every move on Greatsword has, like, at least 2 to 3 variations, and that's so... When I say that's, like, I mean, it's so hard to fight against, because the go-to for it, a lot of the times, right, they hit a side light, and they open with, like, a 50-50, basically, so that was pretty tough. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I ended up losing in Game 5, and one of the games, like Game 4, I got like 3 stocks. So I was like, dang, like how, well, which is crazy because I ended up winning the next game when I swapped. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I think I managed to make the last game close, but it's just a bad feeling losing to something that you really aren't comfortable with. Like when you're really clueless, it's like going and taking a test and having no idea. It's like you never studied this stuff. It's like I'm seeing this information for the first time. But I proceeded to go down to losers, and I actually got what I genuinely consider to be one of my biggest wins in the past like year or so, and that was beating Stingray 3-1. That set started out by him playing Zol, and I gotta say, I felt ridiculously good into his Zol. And then he ended up swapping to Ragnar, and his Ragnar previously, there's been, I think, 2 different instances where I've been up 2-0 on that guy, and he's managed to reverse me. More recently was when I was actually playing the Mordex versus Zol matchup, and I got up 2-0 in winners finals of the Mammoth Invitational, and the freaking guy, I don't know, he just figured out, he realized he needed to slow it down, and that's what he did, and it was really, really good. But this time around, I was much more aware, like I was saying, of his dodges, and this is quite literally why I believe, like, I'm playing some of the best Brawlhalla I have in a long time, is because, like, I was able to actively see and read and be like, oh, okay, I know exactly where he's gonna go. I know what he's gonna do as far as dodging. I know what moves he's looking for. But when he swapped to Ragnar, he ended up getting a game off me. I think I actually did almost bring it back, but I realized also, I'm like, okay, it's not necessarily that different because Zol, Ragnar, they both have Axe, and he wasn't changing how he played it. So what ended up happening was Game 4, I ended up closing it out, and, you know, that felt really, really good. I was feeling confident, and I played Kostlix next. Game 1, won with Mordex. He was playing, like, his Artemis or something, and I kind of expected to win that matchup. I don't think his Artemis, at least on Scythe, it's not very developed, so I knew I would just have to watch out for Artemis side sig, which I think I did a decent job at. Then he swapped to Ulgrim. That gave me a little more trouble, so what ended up happening was that I ended up swapping, let's just die here. I ended up swapping to Onyx again. And Onyx, I just like the momentum that you can play with Onyx, and I like the high defense gauntlets. That's kind of why I play the character. Also, you don't see much Onyx, so it's kind of nice just playing a character that I guess people don't necessarily have that sort of matchup with. But it goes 2-1 him, pretty much, and I'm like, all right, so Onyx time. I do that Onyx swap. The game's going swimmingly for me. I'm absolutely rolling him. and it gets to last stock. He is completely like barbecue, right? Like really deep red, like a blood red. And I am just on my last stock, 100% fresh, like not an exaggeration. Like he was one tap from an end light. And I ended up going to recovery him in the bottom of the stage, and my finger slipped onto my dodge, and I quite literally SD'd. It was possibly the most embarrassing moment of like my competitive career, just because like I mean, it's like, wow, how does that happen? I wasn't even mad. I was literally just so embarrassed. My reaction quite literally after that was, oh, okay, I said my GGs, which, you know, as much as I'd like to say I meant it, I absolutely did not, just because it's like that was possibly, again, the dumbest thing I've ever done in a tournament. And I was just like kind of dumbfounded that that's how I went out, especially considering I felt like I figured it out and I knew what I needed to do going into game 5 with how to like win that set. So that was really disappointing. I would have played Megd next. Megd ended up beating Koslik's 3-0. So yeah, that also kind of sucked because I really felt like the way I was playing, and also my previous encounters with Megd, albeit the last one was very, very close and it did go down to like the very last minute in time. I ended up getting 13th, which really hurts. And mainly the thing that hurts, not, you know, what people are saying, oh, like the choking, yada, yada, because I know that's not true. It's more so the fact that now for the mid-season invitational, right, which is looking like it's going to be like some invite-only tournament where 13 players from NA are going to come, 13 from EU, and then I forget the other numbers for the other regions. Pretty much, it's, yeah, and it's going to have, like, a big prize pool and stuff. It sucks because now I've put myself in a position where I'm not sure, like, where I lie exactly on the PR, right, on the power rankings. I think I was, like, 8th or 7th, if I'm lucky, if I was 7th. I think I was 8th, maybe 9th, but I knew I was in, like, the 5th through 10th, like, region. After that, like, I don't know. I'm definitely not going to drop super far down, but it would be such a shame if my blunder there ended up coming and biting me in the butt, basically, because of what happened. So now I'm pretty sure the next PR tournament is Springs. So that's the only other one I really have to like use to my advantage and get like a good placement to really like solidify my chances of playing in the mid-season invitational. Because like honestly, if I'm being, I would actually be pretty disappointed if I didn't make it, just because I feel like I don't know, I feel like especially right now I'm putting in the work, and thinking about it, my BCX run I got 13th as well, and it was so unlucky because I was legitimately lagging. I was having internet problems, and that contributed to it so much, and that sucked so bad. And then for this last tournament, for me to feel like I'm playing so well, and for me to know I'm playing so well, and for that to happen, it's a real bummer to get 2 back-to-back 13ths off of reasons that are, you know, equally dumb in their own way. With that being said, though, there is a tournament coming up. It's like the Omen Oasis tournament. I don't know if it's PR'd, but it's on the 27th, so in like 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks maybe, I don't know, but it's the last weekend of February, so I hope you guys tune into that. I'm going to try my best to win the event. I genuinely believe that I'm at a point where I can. It's just that I made a really dumb mistake and it cost me. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you guys.